Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I am the Linux Mensch. Previously, I did a video on Firefox. I showed you how to install it in Arch Linux and how I like to configure it and change the settings to make it more privacy respecting and to make it just the way I like it. Now, when I made that video, I also said that I like the Brave browser. And the Brave browser is also a web browser that respects your privacy and is a good browser. And I mentioned that I liked Firefox a little bit more, and I was going to tell you why later. Well, now I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I like Firefox a little bit more is that the Brave browser is not installed or doesn't come with Arch Linux. Now you can get it in Arch Linux, but you have to get it through the AUR, which is the Arch User Repository. Now in the AUR, the Arch Linux developers have the AUR, or the Arch User Repository, on their website, and they tell you to use it with caution because they don't monitor it, and there's always a possibility that there could be some malware in it. Whereas if you're installing packages from the regular Arch repository, all the packages are monitored by the developers of Arch Linux, and they make sure that there's no malware or viruses in the packages. So they tell their users, if you're going to use the Arch User Repository, otherwise known as the AUR, that you have to be very careful. You have to understand how you're installing the packages, and user beware. So anyways, like I said, Brave browser is not part of the developers, the Arch Linux developers repository, but it is in the AUR. So you can download it in Arch, and I'm going to show you how to do it, how to install it, and how I like to configure it and change its settings. Also, one thing I really like about the Brave browser is that it comes installed with its own ad blocker. Now, if you watched my video, my Firefox video, you noticed that I installed Firefox and I installed a Firefox ad blocker as well. It is an extension. Whereas in Brave browser, they have a built-in ad blocker that you can install it with. So let's jump ahead, and I'm going to show you how to install the Brave browser on Arch Linux. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Firefox because it's already installed, and I'm going to type in Arch. Should type that right. And before I do that, I'm going to make the screen a little larger. I'm going to type in archlinux.org. And I'm just going to make this a bit larger again. And as you can see, this is where all the packages are. So if I type in Brave here, nothing comes up. But if I go into the AUR, which is the Arch User Repository, and because this is a virtual machine, I have to play around with the resolution and make things larger so you can see them. So now I'm in the AUR, the Arch User Repository. I'm going to type in Brave, and I'm going to click on Brave Bin. This is the one you want, Brave-bin. I'm going to click it on. I'm going to click it again. And I'm just going to make it, oh, it's already pretty large. Let's just do that. So what you want to do is go into the terminal. So I'm just going to open up another workspace here. I'm going to click on Xterm, my favorite terminal, and you know what? I'm going to make this a bit larger too. And maybe that's a bit too large. So let's go down one. Let's keep it like that. Okay, so I'm going to make, and you don't have to do this, but I'm going to make a directory for AUR packages. So I'm going to do make dir capital AUR. This is not a necessary step, but I like to keep my AUR packages separated from other things that are in my home directory. So there. So I created the AUR. So I'm going to, sorry, I created the AUR directory. So I'm going to go into it now, CD, AUR. So now I'm in my AUR directory. So now I'm going to type in, what I'm going to do is go back to the other workspace. I'm going to copy this line. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the other workspace where I'm in the terminal, and I'm going to type in git clone and insert that line. Then I'm going to CD into Brave folder. I'm going to list the files. And I'm going to check the package build. So this is something you're supposed to do when you're downloading things from the AUR, the Arch User Repository. You're supposed to check the package build to make sure everything looks good and there's no viruses or malware in there. So I'm going to vim, and actually you can just cat pkg and tab it to complete it. Cat your package build, and let's just look up. And actually, even a better way to do that is you can type in less package build and tab it there. So you can see at the top there are the maintainers. You can scan down. This is coming from the Brave browser website. Everything looks good. And this is how you view the package build. And that's the end of it. So I'm going to hit quit, hit the Q for quit. And now I'm just going to LL my files again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in this command. Make pkg base dash sic. Make pkg spat. And I'm going to hit enter. And now it's making the package. It's going to take a moment, not too long. The Brave browser -bin downloads and makes pretty fast. Now it's asking me for my password. I type in my password. Do you want to install it? Yes. And now it's installed the Brave browser. So now I'm going to close my terminal, and I'm going to go back to Workspace 1 and close Firefox. I'm going to restart my window manager. And now there is something that I'm going to have to do because I don't have the Brave browser installed in my menu. So I'm going to go back into the terminal. I'm going to type in, now you're going to have to go and find the command if you're not using my Zesh configuration file, and you're free to get that from my GitLab repository. But if you are using my Zesh configuration file, all you have to do is type in this command. config. And it's going to take you into the configuration file. You're going to scan down. There's a fast way to get down there, but I'm just going to show you the easy way. Now, I do have Brave in there, but it has 2 dashes in front of it, and it's the color blue, the light color blue, which means it's inactivated. Now that's there, not because I downloaded Brave a moment ago. That's there because I put that in my configuration file a long time ago. So what I'm going to do is delete these 2 dashes, and that activates the Brave line. I'm going to save the file, WQ for quit. I'm going to close my terminal. I'm going to restart my awesome window manager. And now you can see Brave is right there. It's the second one in the menu. I'm going to say no thanks. And these are the things I like to do to configure my Brave browser. I'm going to skip the welcome tour. I'm going to click on, I'm going to customize here. I'm going to click on this customize button. Show sponsored images? No. Top sites? I'm going to click it off because I don't want it showing me all these websites I don't use. Brave News? It's already off. Cards? I don't want to use any of these cards. You can if you want, but I'm going to turn them off. I'm going to close that. I'm going to say no thanks to the Brave News. Then I'm going to, in my hamburger menu, on the top right, I'm going to click it, and I'm going to scan down the menu to settings. I'm going to go to settings, and I like, when I open my browser, I don't want to continue where I left off. I like it to open up to a new page. So I'm going to click that one on. Appearance, you have light or dark mode. I like dark mode. Home button, I always like to show my home button. Shields, I'm going to go down here and change trackers and ad blocking from standard to aggressive. You can disable it, but I don't recommend that. But the default is standard, but I'm going to change it to aggressive. Now there's another thing I want to show you, which I forgot about. And that is the Brave browser. Not only does it come installed with a built-in ad blocker, it also comes in, if you just click on this hamburger menu in the top right, it comes in with Tor. Now Tor is an anonymous browsing configuration and site that hides your IP address, and it sends it through 3 different servers before you surf the web. And you can use Tor outside of Brave because Tor happens to be its own thing. But Brave has Tor automatically installed, so you can surf the web anonymously. And now I'm hooked into my Tor, and you can surf the web and hide your IP address. So let's close that. Let's close that. Let's reopen Brave. So this is the Brave web browser installed from the AUR, the Arch User Repository in Arch Linux. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to push that button and subscribe to the channel. I am the Linux Mensch.